Hi, I'm Bill Lauder. The Dor-Wood Optimist Club was formed in June 1965, and although I was not there in the beginning, I've always been curious about those first days. This video is dedicated to a founding member, Joe McLeod. Joe passed away recently, but left a great legacy and told us the story of the club's earliest years. Since its beginning, Dor-Wood has grown over the years, and our mission of service to area youth continues today. Let's listen to Joe and others and take a look at 50 years of good work. First up, let's listen to Joe tell you about the beginning days of Dor-Wood, including the club formation on a simple placemat, meeting locations, the naming of the club, and some notable people who helped start Dor-Wood.
In front of you, you have a placemat, a bunch of scribbling, ideas that guys were coming up with at the formation of the Optimist Club of Dor-Wood. Initially, the East Kettering Optimist Club, which was an evening meeting club at Vito's. New club building concepts was very important to the growth of Optimist clubs. Several members contacted Jerry Roberts, Dr. Frazier, Doug Gagel, Fred Smith, Chet Tompkins. These people were contacted to form a club at lunchtime. Well, the first official meeting would have been at Vito's at lunchtime. Organization was made beforehand at the Cronenberger building on East Dorothy Lane. Dr. Frazier's office was across the street. Jerry Roberts, Fred Smith's office was in that building, so that was a meeting place. We got together, and they, through the assistance of the East Kettering Optimist Club, we came up with a prototype, which is not unusual, but we came up with the idea of the club. We started off informally at Parkmore on Wooden Drive. That was not an adequate place to have a noon lunch. So since East Kettering was meeting at Vito's in the evening, we decided to go to Vito's at lunchtime. It worked out real well. We had a nice private dining area. We were there for many, many years until Vito's decided to sell, close, go out of business. We looked around for adjacent different places, and we elected the presidential banquet room because it was large enough. They've been good to us. We've been loyal to them. They're gracious enough to take us, and we've been there ever since. Well, after due consideration, we took Dorothy Lane, Woodman Drive, and made it Dor-Wood. At that time, the official connotation name of the Optimist Club was the Optimist Club of Dor-Wood, the Optimist Club of East Kettering, the Optimist Club of Dayton, etc. We couldn't have Kettering because there was Kettering already. We couldn't have East Kettering because there was East Kettering. So we had to come up with some type of a name. So that's where the Dor-Wood came.
Well, Joe McLeod comes to my mind. He was a great influence in that club. Even though he's also one of the founding members, he continued to be very active. I think of Bob Himes, who was one of our past presidents. As a matter of fact, he and Dave Hammond are the only two members that were presidents on two different occasions. And Bob was in the floral business, and everyone would have their scrapbook. Every president would have the scrapbook done by Bob, and they'd always win first prize at the state level. He would just put a lot of time in it.
One name comes to mind is Joe Smith. Joe Smith was a natural-born comedian, and he could make a simple statement becomes humorous. And he was a very committed member. He didn't plan it. whatever. He was a natural born comedian. He could open his mouth and have the club laughing.
Larry Spatz has been a longtime member. What I can honestly say that I think is inspirational, he took on the job of secretary-treasurer for 17 years, and then in addition another 6 years as just secretary. So he had a combined 23 years and 17 years as treasurer. He has been recognized by the Ohio District by being in their Hall of Fame, which he richly deserved.
There's been a lot of unique people that came through DorWood. In their own way made significant contributions to the success of the club. It wasn't done with the purpose in mind of self-gratification. It was just that they wanted to do it for DorWood Optimist Club.
DorWood's first fundraiser is thought by most to be DorWood's tree lot. Actually, the tree lot was the byproduct of a TV raffle. Joe explains.
It came through Bob Smiley, owned Esco Electronics. So we endeavored to come up with a fundraising project to sell raffle tickets for television. We'd haul that television around to every shopping center. We stood outside selling raffle tickets like the Boy Scouts sell cookies or whatever it might be. And that was our first fundraising project. That was in the summer. We were approached in the fall by a gentleman by the name of Emil Shellnut, who had a tree lot at the present place that we have our tree lot now, Stragan's Shopping Center. And he introduced us to selling Christmas trees. So our first endeavor that was big in success was selling Christmas trees at Kettering on the grassy area of the Sunoco service station. Reich said, you can't put a tree on our lot. People can park on the lot, but you can't have a tree lot. So we were in that L-shaped area of the Sunoco service station. And we were very successful. Successful from the standpoint of we made a handsome amount of money. Sold out trees. And next year, Joe Smith and a couple other guys wanted to have a tree lot at Hills and Dale. So we started 2 tree lots. Now that shows you the initiative and the ignorance of what we were. We didn't have the faintest idea of failure. We just did it, and it turned out to be a success. A general price was in the $5 to $15 range. Okay, we started at the Sunoco station and on the corner of Hills and Dales, of Dorothy Lane and Dixie Drive. We lost the Sunoco station, and Wrights let us move down to the front of Winter's Bank on Woodman Drive and let us sell trees there. And we went across the street, which was then Shoppers Fair. Then we got the opportunity to come up there to the shopping center on Woodman Avenue. And then we got an opportunity to go to Delco Park. So we were there until they remodeled Delco Park, took that entrance away, and they said we could go down to where the dirt track was, and then down the street to the Woodland Shopping Center, and then over to where we're presently at, which was the initial place that started this. So we went full circle.
Jim Connor is a person that most people in recent years would remember him as someone that wouldn't talk and sit around. He was the one member that I gave a special prize when I was president because he attended every activity. I asked him to be in charge of the tree lot, and he ran that for 6 years very effectively. We've had good tree lot managers, including Mike McGrew had 8 years, and then Don Bell, 11 years. And recently we have Ron Armstrong, who has served 7 years, and we hope that he will continue for many more.
As a member of both Dor-Wood and the Kettering City Council, I'm pleased to say that 50 years ago, the beginning of Safety Village, was the result of a partnership between Dor-Wood and the city of Kettering. That relationship continues today. Joe McLeod and Jerry Barnett tell that story.
Safety Village is a program that we provide for kindergarten, pre-kindergarten students, youngsters who are going to be attending kindergarten the following year. This is in the summertime. And it's a program where DorWood was running it by themselves for the first 9 years. And we would have a village outside in a courtyard with different buildings, about 7 buildings that were built by the membership. And then inside, a teacher would conduct a program, and it was a combination between those two. After 9 years, we realized that it was becoming a larger project, and so we got the city of Kettering involved, and it's been a joint project ever since. And we're approaching 50 years for that program.
If you want to know why I'm an active member of DorWood, I probably have to tell you why I joined DorWood in the first place. Back in 1973, I found myself driving a small metal car around a plywood village that was the Kettering Safety Village. And DorWood Optimist Club gave me the opportunity to learn about car safety, bus safety, safety moving in around the school district and in my home.
And this, our 50th anniversary, after having 49 years of a village outdoors, we finally made a decision that we're going to have the village inside for 2 reasons. One, the weather would create a problem for those who are running the program because it might rain 3 or 4 days during a week, and so kids would never even get into the village even though they would have a program in the gymnasium. And the second reason, we have it at one location because the buildings are so heavy, they are not that portable. So we set it up, and then after a full season, then we tear it down at one school. This way, we now are going to go into the buildings, the gymnasiums of 3 schools. And we have built new buildings that are very portable. And we are just in the finishing stages of having 10 buildings that will be just amazing when people see them, with the project done by Sherholtz and several of the other. Approximately 15,000 that have gone through so far. And we want to hopefully improve that percent of kids going.
As early members, Joe and Jerry are also very proud of some additional programs: Lake Cumberland, Beavertown, Holiday at Home, and Just Say No. The more senior members of the club will remember these.
I think of Bob Himes. He owned a cabin at Cumberland Lake. And so for several years, he had set up a program where special ed class would go down for a visit. The National Guard in this area actually got their trucks and moved big tents down to Cumberland on his property. And the school kids traveled by bus. And I traveled on the bus, and I was younger, and we camped in the tent with the kids. And so it was a good opportunity. We went over to Beavertown Elementary School, and Joe McLeod and I were co-chair, and people like Jim Connor and Fred Hoffman, Irv Anderson, we were all very active in that program, where we would go over there on a weekly basis, go into a classroom, pull some youngsters. I worked with kindergarten first graders, and we'd provide some tutoring. DorWood also would provide a career day during at least once or twice a year. And then a project such as going around the grounds of Beavertown School and have a cleanup. And I guess I mentioned career day, so that we felt it was a very active program.
Ernie Neufeld was a member of the Optimist Club, and he was also a member of the Holiday at Home Committee. And they needed manpower to man their viewing area bleachers. So he approached DorWood we would go over and be marshals at the viewing area. Then any member of our family or friend could sit in the bleachers. So we had a contingent of people meeting at 5 o'clock in the morning, having breakfast at Friendly's, several restaurants around town, around the area. And we have breakfast and go over and pull these bleachers out and we brought over by Parks and Recreation, set them up. This is probably like at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. Then we had to move the bleachers off the road area back on the grassy area. It was very successful because the parade was successful. So we had members that would volunteer, even though we were there at 5 o'clock in the morning and getting home at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
The Just Say No that lasted 8 years. And it was during the President Reagan's years when Nancy Reagan said, hey, how about developing programs called Just Say No? And so I was still in the Kettering schools in an administrative role, and we developed that, and we did all 6th grade students for 8 years and had really a great program, and it finally was incorporated into the curriculum. But Dor-Wood was instrumental in keeping that going, including end of the year rally where we went over to the stadium and had balloons that had messages on them. We sent them up in the sky, and kids did a walk around Kettering preaching the message.
Dor-Wood is also known for supporting scholastic achievements through our scholarship programs and supporting area sports programs. Numerous programs like TriStar Basketball and Soccer, the Tip-Off Classic, Future Firebirds, and the Alter Fairmont Starter Trophy Game. Take a look.
I enjoy the TriStar Soccer, the TriStar Basketball. These two events are not meant to be where the best basketball players or the best soccer players come out to the fields. These typically are the kids that are not the athletes, that don't have the opportunity. And the event is structured so that every student walks away with either a trophy or a door prize, and the kids come back year after year. Some of our junior optimists actually have come back and volunteered to help because they remember going through that program when they were young.
More recently, Dor-Wood continues its community work. Golf for Kids, new club building, and Avenue of Flags are the big contributors to the community.
Golf for Kids is a golf outing for adults that we play golf and for a fee, and it becomes a fundraiser with all the money going for the kids. It's not a golf outing for kids per se, but the funds we raise, we have a good time doing it, and then it becomes part of the ongoing contributions that Dor-Wood can make to the kids of the community. We started in 1996 for the first year. Matt Zimmerman was president. Paul Francis chaired the first outing. Frank Skelly came in later in the process and helped with that first outing. And then Frank took it over after that. So we've had 19 Golf for Kids outings over the years. Over the 19 years we've done this, we've raised just under $200,000. That's all going into kids programs in the local community. It's been at Jamaica Run Golf Club out in Germantown. We started out, the first one was in Xenia at the WGC, and then we were at Larch Tree for a few years, and recently it's been at the Jamaica Run. And so this is an opportunity for them to play golf with their friends and meet some other friends. We try to have it a very well-run outing so that it runs smoothly, that they enjoy that, they have a lot of fun, and they can see the results of it. We give away some little prize money for the first and second place winners, but it's not very much money, and it's more about the camaraderie and the good-natured ribbing back and forth of who's placed where and how did you score today.
I'm really proud of the Dor-Wood Optimist Club when it comes to new club building. As an optimist, you either further your cause by asking someone to join your club, or you take the even more difficult path of starting new clubs. Over the 50 years, Dor-Wood has started 19 clubs, 19 adult clubs. These clubs magnify what we can do as optimists. In the early years, they were adult clubs. In the later years, we've been forming college clubs, which are college students doing the same thing we are, but usually at their college community. I got involved with new club building not for the adult clubs, but for our junior Optimist clubs, which are kids K through 12 doing what the adults do. But our motto is Friend of Youth. Their motto is Kids Helping Kids. The Junior Optimist has meant a lot to me because it gives me the opportunity to work hand in hand with the youth. And what I found is that the youth want to help their community. In fact, if you ask them to help, they usually have so many ideas, you have to try to help them limit their ideas down. One of the optimists, junior optimists that I met, that I've known for many years now, is now an adult optimist, and his name is Peter Vondervellen. And when he started his first junior optimist club at Alter High School, he was asked to describe optimism in a short phrase, and he described it as a big productive party. And that's really what it is. You get together with your friends, you get together, you do good work for the community, you do good work serving kids. And so that's how he recruited members for his Junior Optimist Club. Peter then, when he graduated from high school, was going to college at Ohio State University. And there's no Optimist Club at Ohio State, or at least there wasn't before Peter joined. And when Peter joined, he started an Optimist Club at Ohio State and now changed that university, the campus life on that university for long after he's gone. That's impressive. He started that because he was given the opportunity to be a junior optimist when he was in elementary school. So that's why I'm a member of the Dor-Wood Optimist Club, and that's why I'm so proud of our club building efforts, because we're magnifying what we can do as adults to serve the kids of our community.
The Avenue Flags patriotic fundraiser. We put flags in a person yard for the 5 holidays: Memorial Day, Flag Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, and Veterans Day. And they pay $45 for it. And we put the flag in, we take care of it, we store it. If it gets lost, we replace it. In about 2008, Pete Callahan was going to be elected president, so he joined the Kettering Leadership Academy. They have a community project that they need to do as part of the requirement. He had heard about the Avenue of Flags from Centerville Noon Optus, so he went there to learn more about it. It was a very good project, and so in in March, he presented it to Dor-Wood as a patriotic fundraiser, and also it would help the Leadership Academy finish their community service project. So that's how it got started. And a little bit is neighbors have it, and so I want it too. It looks real great. And as more and more people in their street or in their small community see more and more flags out, they want to be part of it. So yeah, it's a patriotic, but it's more of, I want to just be part of it.
How does the club stay in touch with what is going on in the community? At weekly meetings, Dor-Wood members learn from visiting speakers who share information about businesses, schools, charities, and sports programs in the area and beyond. And countless long-term friendships have developed. Before his recent untimely passing, Joe McLeod was asked his thoughts on the club today and what he hoped for in the future. He would like us to carry on serving the community. As you will see, current President Joe Willen and the Dor-Wood Optimist Club continues its journey into the future.
Good afternoon and welcome to the regular meeting of the Dor-Wood Optimist Club. We're the club that celebrates the youth of the community, have been doing so for the last 50 years. Give yourselves a hand.